Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to another great episode of Talkin Far, Far Away here from the BrickCityBlockade.com podcast network. Oh boy, some great stuff happened last night when it comes to The Last Jedi. And guess who I've got? I've got Mr. Scott Inch from across the pond. And who's the other guy? I think I know him.
Yeah, he sounds familiar.
Yeah, awfully familiar. Oh, it's
Yeah.
Brian Fontaine. Brian, how's it going, dude?
Greetings.
What an entrance to Talking
Yes.
Far, Far Away.
Yeah, my call up to the big show here. So yeah,
Uh,
no, Robin, you obviously you're not going to toot your own horn about this, but if anybody
oh,
watched the live stream last night, not only was our own Robin vote the leading lead off video, you got a lot of notoriety there, Robin. You got your name out there, you got your Twitter handle, you had your little BCB patch.
Yeah, that was a great little moment. And it was funny because when it transitioned, I was like, I was like, okay, here comes the Star Wars moments. And I was like, yeah, they probably didn't make my cut. And then to see myself, like the first video up there, I was like, hold on a second. I know this guy from somewhere. He seems awfully familiar to me. And they were smart. They kind of blurred out one part of my jacket, but thank goodness they did not blur out the other side, which had the Brick City Blockade patch right on it. And so I have to do a personal shout out to Star Wars, the Star Wars show, and Lucasfilm. Thank you guys for putting my video up there. There were some great other people who had their videos up as well. And let me just say this as well before we get really into this conversation here. But there were so many great submissions for Star Wars stories, Team Porg or Team Voltex, and across social media, just some great people submitting their thoughts. So big shout out to them. I'm going to give them a round of applause because it's so important that we as Star Wars fans reflect as a community that just because there were select people chosen, those are just a couple of people in the wide community of Star Wars fans. And that's our first discussion really tonight, gentlemen, is The Last Jedi, the red carpet premiere. I know some of you guys have been seeing clips here and there of some stuff. It was really a great night for all Star Wars fans. Brian, I'm going to kick it over to you for a quick second here to share some of your thoughts. But there were some great moments on the carpet, including Kelly Marie Tran, who had a great moment with Daisy Ridley and another one with Andy Gutierrez, which was very emotional.
Oh, yeah, I didn't catch all of the premiere because again, I'm trying to avoid any and all spoilers, but there's not going to be any spoilers on the red carpet. But I mean, it's the red carpet thing is not only to get all of these big name actors and actresses out there, but it's to celebrate Star Wars. And I feel like for the third year in a row over in Los Angeles, they brought in something that just was like, hey, look at us. We're really big time now. Star Wars is more mainstream than ever. They had one of the big gorilla walkers. It looked to scale, but they said would be even taller than it was in real life. And, they had the X-Wing fighter a couple of years ago, and it was just really cool. The host of the Star Wars show, Andy Gutierrez, and I'm drawing a blank on the other line, guys. Help me.
I can't remember.
He's the guy with the glasses.
Yes. I'm so sorry. But anyways, you just like they are so good about being the voice of the fans, even though they're Lucasfilm employees. And I just love that about Star Wars. And there, like you said, Robin, there was a lot of great moments. And I feel like Kelly Marie Tran is one of us as fans, and a lot of fans have really gravitated towards her as an actress, and she's kind of like coming from nowhere, and it just shows you even the kind of on the hero's journey in real life that anybody can come, no matter your background. You can also be in Star Wars if you work hard enough. And I'm just really fascinated by her backstory. And then it's just, guys, we're like less than a week away from The Last Jedi here, Scott. And I know you're going to see it a day before the rest of us over in Scotland, but just talk about the excitement level, Scott.
I'm getting excited about it. I think everybody's now starting to get hyped up. I mean, me and my mate Ross are quite excited over here. I've not really spoken to a lot of people I've spoken to. Don't really been that excited. Don't know why. Strange people we have in this world. but yeah, the excitement just started to build. It's been building for the last week or so since the press junket started, and we've seen clips of that. But unfortunately, I never got a chance to see really any of the live stream for the premiere. So, but I'll go back and have a look at it. But it looks like they all had a good time. Everyone's just really excited. I mean, I was able to catch John Campion's reaction and how he enjoyed the premiere and how just everyone was there. And I did notice that one person at the premiere was Hayden Christensen, and it's got my mind starting to go now about that as well. So yeah, there's just a few days to go. Wednesday night, Thursday morning. Oh, I feel sorry for you guys that you have to wait an extra 24 hours. I will have one person to speak to and no one else about it for 24 hours. How am I going to do this?
Oh, Scott, you're one of the best.
Hold on, Robin. It was Anthony Carboni. That's what I was going to say, but I didn't want to sound like a complete doofus. But, this is live podcasting.
Anthony, we did not forget you. Brian Fontaine came through big on that one. So big shout out to you. We'll make sure to tweet out your Twitter account just as kind of a little filler for everything here at the Brick City Blockade. But you're absolutely right, Scott. I think you're going to be able to manage quite well. You have a community here you can talk to. There are going to be plenty of people. I was talking with Kelly from Team Ahsoka, and she's really excited. She even gets to see it on the Wednesday in the Netherlands. So she's going to have a real chance to see it even before. And it's a really early showing, too, compared to when yours is going to be. So I think it's really fascinating that there's even different time slots, even throughout Europe, for seeing The Last Jedi, which I thought was cool heading forward. And also the other point that you made, Scott, there is that, yeah, there were some people that were coming out of last night. I know here at the Brick City Blockade, we try to keep it non-spoilery and everything, and that's our message heading forward. But the reviews coming out from John Campia and from some of the guys at Collider, and of course the Brez himself, saying some really, really great stuff about what Rian Johnson is producing here. And we've said it across the network that based on what we've heard so far, we can now see why this guy got 3 films. And Kathleen Kennedy even said on the red carpet last night that, yeah, I had my eyes on Rian Johnson for quite some time, even after we gave him the job of The Last Jedi. Brian, I think that's the direction that we're heading in here. And it's so great to hear from Kathleen and Bob last night that Star Wars is like a focus of theirs, not only right now, but heading forward and making sure the right people are in track to continue to bring this saga and whatever else with the Star Wars universe.
Yeah, I feel like Bob Iger actually he did couch one soundbite where I think he said that they had the premiere in LA for The Force Awakens. And I think they said they were flying over to London for the European premiere. And they actually had a script from Rian Johnson for The Last Jedi. And they were going through and reading the script, going to the Force Awakens premiere. And you could tell, I mean, he's a very reserved guy. I mean, he's there for the shareholders and whatnot. And you could see he was grinning ear to ear that they knew they already had a winner before they had even filmed anything. So the confidence that they seem to have in Rian Johnson, I think is met with the expectations of fans. And we talk about fans all the time that, these early reactions, I think based on everything we've seen footage wise, the cast talking on Jimmy Kimmel, Robin, we just talked about the other night on Make the Jump News Live, that it seems like everything's converging together, and I can't be any more excited the fact that we're going to get more films from Rian Johnson. And everybody said the same thing. It was positive, and they just said he went for it. Like there's taking risks, and then there's taking just silly, stupid chances. And it sounds like he took very calculated risks that are going to push the story forward. And it's not going to just be a retread of a previous movie, and we're just going to have this vicious circle of recycling everything. It really does sound like, Scott, that Rian Johnson's taking Star Wars to a place that I think we're all going to really enjoy.
Yeah, I mean, some of the views some of the people's thoughts that have came out have said that this is a completely different Star Wars movie to anything that's came before. And that has all excited the entire fan community side, the fact that he's going to take the new trilogy he's going to do in a completely different direction. And I know there's a lot of people out there saying, that, oh, he says he's not doing Old Republic. He didn't say that. He said he wasn't adapting the game. It could be Old Republic or it could be something else, but that's a different story altogether. Yeah, I think with Bob Iger saying that he knew he had a winner, and Kathleen Kennedy saying that she's had her eye on him, I think the future of the Star Wars franchise is quite safe in Rian Johnston's hands.
Yeah, I mean, to say the least, it sounds like, based on what Rian Johnson has been able to produce in The Last Jedi, until we see it Wednesday night and Thursday night, we'll have our own opinions of it. But at the same time, it sounds like there is a trust level with this guy. And it sounds like even amongst critics now, there's a trust level with Rian Johnson. And I think that builds well for what his future projects are going to be. And like you said, Scott, we're not sure about whether it's going to be, and like you said, he didn't say that it wasn't going to be Old Republic. He said it wasn't going to follow that specific game timeline or that specific, concentration within the Old Republic. It could be going back in time and focusing on something completely different with new characters and a new plot line and a new story progression. But we won't know that until we get some more details heading forward. Scott, Brian, we're getting so close. We're so excited here at the Podcast Network. I know Chris, Jim, and Sean have been talking with all of us about how excited they are, including Katie herself. She's been very excited across social media about her experience heading forward with The Last Jedi. I'm going to start with you, Brian. What's one thing that you were extremely looking forward to heading into Thursday night here in the United States? I know there's so much happening with The Last Jedi, and we've had so much conversation, but what is that one thing?
That's a really good one. I think the thing that, I mean, outside of the whole Rey and Luke dynamic that we probably will see play out, I think the thing that intrigues me the most, and it's the biggest, I feel like it's the biggest wild card to this movie, guys, is probably Snoke. Mm-hmm. Everybody's got a Snoke theory, and I feel like we could still even go this entire film and not really understand him as a character. I don't think we really necessarily need to know where he came from, but where's he going? Is he more powerful than anybody that's come before? Is he, is he somebody similar? And, how ruthless is he? How dark side is he? Those are all things that I feel like we know mostly about a lot of the other characters and kind of what they're all about. And I think Rian has said they're going to drive this story forward. It's a character-based film. But I feel like the character we don't know about right now is Snoke. And I think, all the T-shirts and everything aside, I mean, I think that's the one thing that I really want to see, because that really could be maybe one of the things that we just don't expect. Or even, I mean, Palpatine was a really bad guy. What if Snoke is twice as bad? I don't know. I mean, that's for me. I think that's the thing I'm most looking forward to. How about you, Scott?
Well, to go off your point about, let's forget about Rey and Luke for a minute, but I think the one that I'm kind of looking forward to, other than Snoke, is the Resistance. I want to see where they go from where they left off in the Force Awakens, because we know that the First Order found their base. It feels like that of Empire. From New Hope to Empire, where the Empire knew where the Yavin 4 was. That's where they were hiding. So the rebels moved away to Hoth. So yeah, I kind of want to see where the Resistance go forward without the New Republic or anything.
Yeah, I could totally see that, Scott. I agree with both of you. Snoke is a main focus, I think, for a lot of us when it comes to what kind of progression are we going to see. Like you said, Brian, perfectly, is how dark side is this guy? How much does he know? How much knowledge is he retaining? We've heard people mention, Snoke has got a lot of resources, which fascinates me. That was during the Jimmy Kimmel thing with Andy Serkis and Daisy Ridley. They're just some of their comments that Jimmy was able to get out of him. So I think that those alone could perpetually move this film forward and give us some more background about this character. But for me specifically, it's actually Kylo Ren. He has gone through so much up to this point. The destruction of his father. Now he has to deal with his mother, and he has to deal with the consequences of choices now. he had a chance to turn back. And now at this point, based on what happens in this film, is he going to be able to do that, or does he continually to move farther and farther down Snoke's path and manipulation through the dark side? So I think mine going forward is Kylo Ren. Where's his progression going, and how is that going to affect Rey at its core? So heading forward, guys, I think we have so many different questions outside of this. I think that we're going to get a lot of answers coming up just around the corner. And we want you guys to share your thoughts as well. Please head on over to brickcityblockade.com. Also, make sure to head on over to our Twitter page at BrickCitySWPC and share your thoughts using hashtag BCBPN. All right, guys, I think it's that time of the show. It's a little thing we like to call...
Plug time.
That's right. It's plug time here at the Brick City Blockade Star Wars Podcast Network. Mr. Brian Fontaine, where can the good people find you across social media?
You can find me sparingly on social media for the next week or so at Jedi Scavenger SW on Twitter and Instagram.
Scott Inch.
You can find me trying to avoid spoilers as best I can on the internet. You can find me on Facebook at Scottish, or Scottish on Twitter at Scottish85.
You can catch me going dark here and there on certain parts of social media at specifically on Twitter at Mr. Vote Tweets. You guys can head on over to Instagram, follow me at the official vote. Please make sure to head on over to brickcityblockade.com for everything happening with The Last Jedi and everything happening in a galaxy far, far away. Also, please make sure to iTunes and Google Play Music. Please make sure to subscribe and please rate our shows. That is what brings on the epic guests. We love your ratings. We like to see how much you are enjoying the Brick City Blockade Podcast Network and the content that we are putting out. So we want to see your ratings on there. We want to see you subscribing, and we want you all to enjoy The Last Jedi right around the corner in a galaxy far, far away. Thank you guys for listening to Talkin' Far, Far Away. And as we always say, may the Force be with you.
Always.
Always.